Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fabulous Fuckery. I'm your host, Baroness Bree. I'm so happy to see everyone. Today we have our guest, Mr. Tim Craggette, host of the Swift Kick Show. Why can't I get that right?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. So, yeah, host of the Swift Kick Show. He's awesome. He's on WERA. Yep. And he's also the host of the I Love Nerd Life that we call Ill Nil.
Yep.
Tim is a serial entrepreneur, does a little bit of everything, speaks...
Yeah, a little bit.
Primarily, he helps businesses to get started, to get their growth patterns and drive sales. I'm excited to know you. I'm hoping you're going to help grow my business, grow my sales. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll talk about it.
Well, yeah.
We'll talk about it. But welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yay. Also want to congratulate you because you have an upcoming graduation coming up.
Yeah.
So what's your degree for?
For audio production, audio engineering, Full Sail University. You guys are awesome. Anyone that's thinking about Full Sail, highly recommend Full Sail.
Okay.
But yeah, going down March 8th, down in Winter Park, Florida.
Yay.
And yeah, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
I'm excited. I'm all about people's growth, and that's what this show is about, celebrating every little win.
Thank you.
So now tell me, with all of these business opportunities you're going on, how many businesses do you think you have going right now for you?
Okay, so the funny thing about that question is there's basically like two ways to answer it. The first one is, okay, what's the core business? And the other one is, well, what are all the businesses in the business?
Okay.
So that's why I'm going to try to answer it.
Okay, so you're like an umbrella.
That's a good way of saying it.
Okay.
Yeah. So primarily, my business, where I'm like 50% with my wife, is SWAT coaching, and what we do is we actually coach people in health and wealth.
Okay.
Those are our two big niches. She's the health side with the wellness and balance coaching and all that, which she's like really awesome at. And for me, I'm the business side of it. So online entrepreneurship. Content creation, distribution, publication, things like that. So those are like the big things that we do. Right now, the main focus, at least on my side, is media, because over the past 2.5, 3 years, that's where a lot of my attention has been. I've been seeing a lot of people that's in my network get into the PR space, which is actually where I'm going to, and there's this. Okay, I'm putting this out there for the people that's watching and listening. Branding. I'm sorry. I'm already getting on the tangent.
Just do it.
All right, cool. So branding is not a strategy. Branding is a focus.
Correct.
So for those people that are stuck on branding, make sales. Sales is your branding, not branding is your sales.
Correct.
I'm just saying that.
You can be a brand all you want. If you're not making any money, it does nothing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Does nothing.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's where I am. And the other thing is just helping people to increase their voice. That's another big thing. Like the podcast world is blowing up.
Yep.
A lot of people are really getting into it, and we're helping people to learn the mechanics of that. And getting into small broadcasts, which is also a big thing too.
Yes, it is. It is. So for small broadcasting, there's so many different platforms.
Absolutely.
It's actually overwhelming for myself because I'm trying to figure out. It's like, do you want to be on all these? Do you want to be on Twitch? Do you want to be on YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you want to be on? And then every week is some new fly-by-night corporation popping up that wants $49.99 to stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing here? And it's like, how do I know that this is a legit business and this isn't like an adult porn rebranding my face?
Yeah,
I'm not into that. We're not doing that kind of fuckery. I got kids. But it's really interesting.
Yeah.
How do you know what's the best platform to monetize your videos?
So for videos, all right. So one of my really, really close friends, part of my mastermind, and also was a guest on the Swick show, Tommy Powers, aka Tommy Traffic. Tommy is legit when it comes to video and YouTube, and also I'm blanking on my other dude's name. I see him clear as day. Long story short, the whole thing with doing videos is it's mostly about consistency and time watch. The funny thing is, and this isn't really like my biggest form of expertise, but I know a little bit of something about it. Right now, with YouTube and Google really being big on time on video, everything right now is about having the most awesome content that people will stay there and watch for at least 3 minutes.
Correct.
And then after a certain amount of hours, which I think is like 1,000 hours, then they'll get you into their ad networks. For Facebook, their whole surge and growth into doing videos and Facebook Live, they saw where the money was being dropped off. And I'm actually more familiar with Facebook than anything. With Facebook, their whole thing is the 30-second and the minute watch. So they care if you can keep attention for at least 30 seconds, because then at that they can do a break and throw their ad in the middle. So if someone was trying to maximize video for a way of exposure or a channel, if it's YouTube, it's all about having that interesting minute and a half, 3 minutes. And for Facebook, it's about that interesting 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do any stunts. They're really cracking down on stunts now.
Because they're getting out of control.
Oh my goodness.
They're getting out of control. I just know people. So my theory in life is that we have a grandma shortage. We are missing the elders that give the wisdom about common sense, safety.
Yeah.
And kids are doing very dangerous stunts that I don't even want to talk about because I've seen some horrible things.
Yeah.
And you go to click on it like, oh, this looks cute, and it's like, is he about to shoot somebody? So it's not okay.
Yeah.
But now, with everything that you do,
yes,
because you're all over the place,
yes,
how do you manage self-care? How do you take care of yourself?
Good question. My wife.
Okay.
I'm not the true definition of a workaholic.
Okay.
But I am the true definition of a focused entrepreneur. If I get in the zone of something, I will forget everything else in the world.
Yep.
She does a really good job of making sure that I manage my time.
Okay.
And that kind of helps me with care for myself. Like the things that used to be outlets for me or have now become work for me because I've blended a lot of my life together in the things that I do, which I think we're going to talk about. But for being able to step away and actually breathe and get air and drink water and all the things that are basic, it had to become an exercise.
Okay.
And she helped me to kind of figure out, okay, well, if you're doing X amount of things for X amount of time, this is when you need to take your breaks and blah, 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 and that kind of schedule it in so that way I can be like, okay, now it's time I just need to get that 8 ounces of water in, something like that. But it's for me, I have a very unusual situation where I have control over my time. So I have to be mindful of my health because I have that lead way and I don't have such structure to where I have to worry about those things. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. So for you guys, because you're an awesome pairing.
Thank you.
So, she's awesome to see both of you together. I actually met him and his wife. We were doing a media training course.
Yes.
End of last year.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about what to do and what not to do in media, and it was very useful. And so, shout out to Jackie Cote.
Shout out.
But we learned so much in those courses about how our public personas are affected and all of those types of things.
Oh, yeah.
And my question for you is, do you keep the same persona across all of your platforms? Because what I'm seeing is people with different projects are putting on different faces and it's confusing their brands.
I like that question. I am 150% authentic.
Okay.
And that is by choice because I had no choice. I think I could share this story super quickly and then we can move on. So like back in 2016, my identity was stolen by accident.
Oh.
So my father and I share the same first name and last name. And you know about the internet. When anything ranks, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to rank 150% correct. So I rank for my name, Timothy Craggette. But a story broke out that went national. And he dominated the news cycle, which then dominated the Google search rankings. And from that point on, I've had to be truly myself because I'm like for years now, I've been pushing that stuff down. Trying to push that stuff down. So when when I'm on SKS, I'm me at maybe 90%.
Okay.
When I'm on some of my other projects, I'm me at 110%. I have to turn up a little bit, but still within that 20% range, I'm still me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I ask because, you see people and you don't know what you're getting. Sometimes, a 90% because it's a professional setting, got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get 150% Bree, at a con,
right.
Running around with swords.
Yes.
So, it really helps people to understand the brand and what the tone is.
Absolutely.
Because the tone is what sets how much energy we give for each event. So, thank you for that, because I see a lot of that across platforms where people are kind of, it's like, oh, this kind of seems like the semblance of the person I may know, but I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is going on here? So
yeah, it's funny too with that, because I'm glad you mentioned it. Like, one of the things that I noticed too is, depending on what channel they're in, some people that they're in, is how they actually will carry themselves in that, because there's an expectancy of how that behavior is. Like, a person on IG isn't going to necessarily be exactly the same on Facebook, and not necessarily the same on like their stage personas or anything like that, because they have to cater to someone or something. But the ones that do really good of being themselves, they get to really resonate better, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to just kind of transition into some fun.
Go for it. Let's do it.
So you run a project that I'm in love with, which is called I Love Dirtline.
Thank you.
I am a huge Blurred. Blurred is Black Nerd, for those of you who are not familiar.
Yes.
Blurred Con, Comic Con.
Yes.
Dragon Con, Awesome Con, Katsu Con, Otaku Con, was it Wakoma Con? It's like it's all kinds of comic cons going on right now.
Yes.
And if you guys follow me on social media, I like to dress up. I love doing cosplay. It is one of the most amazing forms of therapy I've ever found.
Your domino was really cool.
Thank you.
I love seeing you with the swords, and that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was fun. My son actually said, you need a weapon. I was like,
I
Yay!
agree. Yeah.
So he's like, okay. I was like, guns, no, swords. All right. So that was a fun day. But for you are a comic guy.
I am, mostly, yeah.
So what comics kind of resonated for you to get you into this lifestyle?
Actual books? Well, back in the 90s, I lived in Florida for a spell, and I didn't have much access to books. But I grew up as a Saturday morning kids baby in the 80s. So I started off with Turtles.
Yay!
Turtles was my big thing. As a matter of fact, of my friends, us four, I'm the Donatello out of the group.
Okay.
But that moved me into X-Men. And that was where I had like my first really like real touch of comic books. So the Jim Lee stuff was the things that really got me into the culture. And then it was SpiderMan. Once SpiderMan really resonated with me, that was it for everything else. Because then now that opened me up, because the character of Peter Parker was so relatable that it didn't feel fictitious, even though it was completely over exaggerated. It was just those core factors of the 2-1 factor, the either 2 good, 1 bad, or one good, 2 bad.
Yep.
And Peter Parker was like perfect, like downtrodden, can't pay his rent, but he has superhero powers, and now he doesn't know what to do with it. That was where I kind of like fell into everything.
He's one of my favorite superheroes, because all of us like have secret powers that we can't show at work every day. Yeah. So I like the fact, like Superman, he was an alien. Yeah. But Peter got bit by a spider. I get bit by spiders all the time. I'm allergic to spiders. Where's my webbing from when I went to the last 2 hospital visits for spider bites? But
they treated you for it.
I know, I should have died and came back as super spider girl. But but it is just interesting to me that because I don't know, SpiderMan is like one of those things. Because my kids don't know what Saturday morning cartoons are because they're always on.
Right.
And then you can go on Netflix and go on demand, and you can find whatever you want all the time, and it's not fair. I feel like they need to learn to wait to Saturday, to sit down with your box of cereal that you shouldn't be eating.
Oh, man.
Waiting for Saturday was the best part of the week. You got to push your parents out the way.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be cleaning, so you had to hurry up and either clean before or after. And, X-Men, Kung Fu Theater.
Yes.
That was what Saturday was in our family. So, so you're a Marvel guy. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, actually, I am an independent guy.
Oh, you're gonna be that kind of person. Fair enough.
So since we traveled down that road, let's keep walking.
Let's go.
All right. So my background is the arts.
Okay.
Shout out to Duke Ellington School of the Arts.
Nice.
Class of '97, visual arts. Okay. So the whole thing in VA was that we always had to create. And when I got older and got into books and all that, sure, there was the mainstream books, the DC, Marvel, like dominated everything, but the creativity came out of independent, in my opinion, and that was where you kind of saw the lead in for DC and Marvel to really start to explore their characters because they started to see what the indies were doing.
That is true.
It's just like in business, like all the small businesses are the ones that are the innovators, and then the big businesses take notice. And then they start to shift their tactics. DC, Marvel did the same thing. I love indie stories more because there's less rules. Marvel had the comic code, and DC abandoned the comic code, but neither side really started to do stuff until Image started to force their hand. When Image started to force their hand, then you started to see the Boom Studios come up. You started to see I feel bad because I see them clear as day, and like it's not Clearwater. I can't remember the name. Either way, I lend more into those stories because there's a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay.
I'm not so big on long, drawn out stories because it feels like I'm part of the binge culture.
Okay.
And the new binge culture is trades, and I can sit on trades all day.
Okay.
But yeah, I love indies a bit more.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, see, for you are an indie person.
Yeah.
I love anime.
Yeah.
And so
that was super obvious over the weekend. Yeah, I was schooled.
Yeah, we attended KatsuCon.
Yes.
That was at the Gaylord National Harbor. Ran into him and his partner Chico. Hey, Chico.
Yeah, Chico.
It was interesting because you're a comic book guy. And you're like, what the hell is that wandering past me? And it was definitely some interesting costumes.
Yeah.
But I was a Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
Sailor Moon.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Kind of girl. And so now my kids, they grew up around that. So now, I'm learning about My Hero Academia. I'm learning about all of these weird, and these cartoons are like gone down the dark, weird side. So,
yeah, technical stuff.
We're sitting there like, what is happening on this? Get that off. I'm paying $9.99 for that. So it's interesting learning the different cultures and how, and some of these, but some of these cartoons are so deep, like Steven Universe.
I love Steven Universe.
So, you're watching it, it's like, I'm watching this goofy cartoon about this kid that turns into a lion, whatever, and all of that stuff. And the next thing, it's like, oh, he's teaching them compassion. Oh, he's teaching them empathy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he could be watching a worse cartoon than this. But then I was a huge Teen Titans, the original dark, gloomy Teen Titans fan. And then I watched Teen Titans Go with my youngest son, who loves Beast Boy, which I think is adorable.
Yeah.
That is not what Teen Titans is. I don't know who these people are with this little goofy dances and the slug. I
love the booty scooty.
I mean, I like Beast Boy songs. Now, Beast Boy can have an album.
They could package all of those songs.
Yeah, because you're like, I be
them.
catching feelings, and I'm like, hey. And so that song, my son's like, Ma, please cut that off.
Aww.
So, but it's just good to see all the people and all the age groups. It was just such a diverse gathering of people.
Absolutely.
And I wish maybe for BlurredCon we'll have to do a collaboration What did we talk? What'd you call it? You called it
Fabulous Nerd Life.
Fabulous Nerd Life. I love it. And so we may have to do a collaboration.
I would love to do that.
I think we should do that.
I think BlurCon should comp us a table.
Hey,
and give us the energy, electricity
I'm gonna have
to actually like set up because I have the gear. I could do it because I've done it.
I'm gonna tag Haas and George and
so I think they should be listening.
Shameless self promotion.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm thinking about maybe doing a panel. We can figure something out while we're there. So we will make some things happen.
Cool.
2019 is the year to Blurred. I want to just empower people to be themselves. I didn't know that this was a form of self-care for me until I went to first BlurredCon, and I'm like, I am with my people. And, it's like, it's a Sailor Moon. And then you're online, like, for a whole 6 months looking for costumes. It's like, I'm going to be Sailor Moon. And my kids were like, is she having a midlife crisis? Is she old enough for that yet? And it's like, I'm going to be, Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. And
see, I'm curious now. Like, since you... Because we've kind of talked about this a little bit, like over the time that we gotten to know each other. When you went to that con and you stepped in, what did you feel? Like, what was the thing that said you felt like you were home?
So it was a lot. So the first year I went, I was just I just watched. I was a voyeur.
Yeah.
And I had on, I have a whole closet full of cool geeky shirts, but that's not the same as wearing the costume.
Right.
So, you go and you're like, I have on a Sailor Moon t-shirt, some girls dressed as Sailor Moon, let's take a picture. But then when all of us are dressed as Sailor Moon and we're all taking pictures and there are kids that are happy to see black Sailor Moons. Because they've never seen that before. Like I had locked braid lock things going on, and they're little. She's like, it's Sailor Moon with braids.
Yeah.
It is nothing like seeing representation without the silky wigs.
I could dig it.
And so to see us, like it was so many Black Panthers last year. I was so effing sick of Black Panthers.
It was the year of Black Panthers. So
yeah,
it
many
was
Black Panthers. So and then my son felt like an innovator because the youngest has been dressing like Black Panther for like 3 years. So I have all these different size Black Panther suits. I want the one with the zipper. And I want this one with the claws. And so, the kids are actually planning out their costumes. And so we have one day that we do a family day.
I love
it. The oldest was Samuel L. Jackson. I was Black Widow. The little one was T'Challa.
Yeah.
And, we're posing for pictures and doing all our Wakanda stuff. And people are like, holy crap, this is kind of cool. And then the next day we were otakus. So like the little one picked one, I picked one. We just did all these different characters.
Yeah.
And it was just so much, hey mom, I want to be Pikachu. And, most families were like, what? And we're like, we have our costumes picked out for this year already. So I have like 3 more. We have 3 more cosplays to do. The little one, he wants to do a Marvel day. So I'm trying to figure out something different for Marvel. And we're probably going to do like an indie comic day. So
that'd be cool.
We're excited. This is good stuff. We love it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get you to costume.
Okay, so let me address that since you brought it up. All right, so I've been, for all the years that I've done the con scene, both as a participant artist and on the show side, I've always gotten bugged by someone to say, hey, you need to do cosplay.
Costume?
And so I tried on my first wig at Katsu, and I felt completely like a fish out of water. But I talked to my wife afterwards, and I was like, all right, we should think about cosplay. And so we're settling. We haven't fully committed to it yet.
Okay.
But we're settling on gender bending.
Oh.
Me doing Raven and her doing Beast Boy.
Nice.
So we're thinking about it.
Look at you guys doing gender bending cosplay for your first cosplay.
Yes, that's going to be weird.
Converts. I'm excited. But you know what? The thing about gender bending cosplay is that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more freedom.
There's no norm. Gender bending cosplay is when you're playing a costume character that's typically male or female.
Yeah.
Or, non-binary, because that's also a thing too.
Yep.
But you can play, he can play Raven as a male. His wife can play Beast Boy as a female. And, she can make it girly. He can make it kind of guyish. And, it's just about playing around with it and having fun with it. So I'm excited to hear that.
So we'll see.
You'll think about it. We'll see what happens. There's still many months between now and July.
Yeah, the other... Okay, so the other side of the coin on that is, what I say is I've already cosplayed. I've cosplayed as myself.
Fair enough. You are the original cosplay version of yourself.
Yes,
I like that.
because I've actually been in a comic book, so I can always be me.
Oh, you've been in a comic book.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
you got to post that on your website. You got to find it. Dig out the peach crate. No, is that bad?
Well, we'll revisit that at a later time.
Okay, on the next show. So, one, I want you to tell people where they can find you.
Absolutely. Facebook.com/SwiftKick Show. That goes right to the radio show content, but basically you can get to me directly from that. TD Craggette, that's TDCRAGGETTE on IG, on Facebook. That's pretty much where I hang out. And if you want the good stuff, I Love Nerd Life. I Love Nerd Life on Instagram, which we're actually really, really getting good at now. And Facebook.com/I Love Nerd Life fan page. But if you just search for I Love Nerd Life, you'll see all the good stuff there too.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having
if
me.
you guys have any questions about how to grow, monetize, any of your business strategies, he's awesome. And he's taught me so much, and hopefully we get to collaborate in some more in 2019.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please check us out on Fab Fuckery on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and something else I'm probably forgetting.
Anywhere you hear your podcast.
Everywhere you hear them. FabulousFuckery.com. And please, follow me on Instagram at Baroness Bree. Have a good night.